Hi everyone. Nama saya Ramadan. Alright, I'm from Zoom and today I'll be a speaker for today. Agenda yang seperti yang cakap Syaira tadi, kita akan cover overview of the Zoom platform dan juga semua produk yang ada di dalam Zoom platform. Ranging from meetings yang semua orang tahu dengan webinar, terus ke event services, data to office dengan Zoom Rooms, feature calling the Zoom phone, sedikit dengan Zoom chat dan Zoom for developers. So email saya ada tertera di screen di sini. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan boleh email ke saya juga. Tapi saya juga akan ambil masa untuk jawab apa-apa soalan at the end of the session. Okay, yeah? Alright. Then halfway through the session, I was thinking saya boleh ambil satu break untuk jawab apa-apa soalan juga. Alright. So first of all, kita take a step back, yeah, to look at what is Zoom platform, yeah. So Zoom platform dan Zoom meeting kita tahu, tapi the last 2 years we have expanded our product suite across 3 different pillars. Pillar pertama adalah communication platform. Di dalam sini kita ada Zoom meeting yang semua orang tahu. Kita ada Zoom webinar. So the session yang kita ada sekarang ini kita panggil dia webinar. Yeah, kita will deep dive into that as well. Kita ada Zoom chat. Not many people know about this, tapi bila subscribe kepada Zoom paid account dapat Zoom chat dengan free juga. Dan kita ada Zoom phone yang saya akan demo lepas ni. Dan second pillar adalah conference rooms dan spaces. So, kita tahu future is not going to be completely remote, ya. Kita going to have people who are working from office, ada yang kat luar, dan Zoom rooms dan spaces ni provide for a seamless experience kepada orang-orang yang ada ke office dan orang yang joining dari luar, ya. Dan lastly kita ada Zoom for developers. Yang ini kita bagi teknologi Zoom kepada semua orang untuk build any apps on top of it, atau guna data dari Zoom untuk app mereka, etc. So kita akan go deep dive in each of these products and answer your question towards the end. Tapi most importantly, all these products yang saya tunjuk sini, dari segi user, semua provided from a single app. Saya akan demo app, tunjuk app ini, my personal app to show you how it looks like. But Zoom phone, webinar, semua ni accessible from a single app. So app yang sama, yang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh download dari Zoom, Play Store atau iStore, same app, ya. Cuma bila kamu subscribe pada produk yang lain, you be additional tab di sana. For example, Zoom phone. Yeah. Dan kenapa single application, single platform ni important? Sebab let's look at legacy. Meeting provider lain, conference room provider lain, webinar lain, dan semua services ini juga adalah hardware dependent. So expensive to deploy. Dan bila ada different provider yang bagi solution ini, you have to get some middleware to connect this. All this can get very expensive and a disjointed experience. Sebab itu kami propose elegant native video first single platform solution. That is what Zoom is doing, yeah. And from here we be moving on to the product overview. Zoom meetings semua orang tahu, tapi saya nak spend a few minutes just to refresh any memories. Kalau ada apa-apa features yang tuan-tuan tidak tahu, saya nak refresh memory tuan-tuan puan, ya. So Zoom meeting in a nutshell, kenapa Zoom meetings easy to use, no training required, senang nak guna, ya. Dan ada end-to-end encryption dari 2 tahun lepas for everybody to use. They can support up to 1,000 participants. Dan di dalam bila ada lebih dari 49 participant, semua participant akan diorganize dalam gallery macam ni. So nak tengok dan boleh scroll to multiple pages. So up to 1,000 people can be listed in a single meeting, ya. Dan kita ada language translation. So for example di Zoom kami ada banyak colleague yang work from Japan. So kami ada live translator who are translating from English to Japanese and vice versa. Dan kita ada integration dengan top apps, dan kita boleh slide share dengan guna slide sebagai virtual background. Saya demo sekarang, ya. Saya stop share dulu. Alright, seperti ini. Saya boleh guna my face as a within the slide itself. So provide for a more interactive experience, yeah. So I can go through the different slides and present it. So if you're having a session where you want to be more interactive, especially for team events, this is a very useful feature. After which, during the meeting, kita boleh buat polling, boleh buat reaction, boleh co-annotate. Ya, for example, annotation macam ni. Kita boleh boleh tulis. So bila ada apa-apa seminar ke, ada orang tanya soalan, participation, kita boleh co-annotate dan discuss together. Next, we have breakout rooms. So during the meeting, kalau nak break up all the different people in different room for next discussion, kita ada breakout room, which can be pre-assigned or ad hoc. And we already seen this particular screen on how the large meeting looks like. So I move on to the next slide. Immersive view. Immersive view is not available in webinars. I can't demo to you quickly. So immersive view basically kita boleh buat virtual background macam ni, dan kita boleh move people's meetings inside here. So it allows for a more interactive experience. Semua orang can be in a single scenery, can be a fireside chat, can be a classroom setting, etc. Tapi basicnya ini already available. Untuk set this up, you have to be the host of the meeting, and your Zoom meetings update has to be updated at least 5.6.3. Sekarang dah 5.9 dah, so shouldn't be a problem, yeah. So moving on. Then even for smaller agencies and smaller organizations, why is it important is that it's reliable even low bandwidth requirements. So for example, to run a Zoom meeting, the minimum required is only 600 kbps of internet speed, both up and down. Yeah, and you can easily record the meeting, the transcribes, and you can do integration to the apps that you use. It can be from Google Workspaces or Asana, any other apps that you use. And you can broadcast directly from your Zoom meetings into YouTube or Facebook, etc. And for executives, the bosses, etc., why is it Zoom meeting useful? Is you can easily have your own personal meeting ID, and people can just join in. Instead of knocking on your door, they can come in into your waiting room. You can talk to them easily, and it's much easier for you to join and to present and leave as an executive. And for IT pros, managing Zoom is a very easy business. Let me just show it to you live right now, how it looks like. For our IT department, you can see the dashboard of all individual users like this. You can go to the individual meetings. Yeah, you can see all live meetings, see which meetings have any particular issue. You can easily set up all the different users, manage them from a single centralized platform. So no need for any complicated coding or any backend stuff. This is very easy to use right from your browser. Yeah, back to my presentation. Yeah, so for the IT team, it's very easy to deploy, very easy to control all the different users, features, and etc. Yeah. Moving forward, for the end user, it's very easy to use. It's intuitive almost, so very much less training required, and it works across your browser, it works from your mobile, and even your desktop app. Yeah, and for accessibility, I mentioned the live transcription earlier. Yeah, so depending on the number of people over there, you can resize the gallery viewing, you can pin multiple support. So it provides for a more seamless experience when you're having this meeting. Yeah. So this is just a recap of a Zoom meeting. I think most people are already familiar with Zoom meeting because the pandemic has been going for 2 years right now. But I thought a good recap would be useful. Next, Zoom webinar. So the session we are in currently is what we call a Zoom webinar. Yeah. So Zoom webinar is different from Zoom meetings in a few different aspects. Yeah. For example, Zoom meeting maximum you can have 1,000 participants. Yeah. While Zoom webinar you can have up to 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 people, no issues at all. And Zoom meeting itu more for interactive session. Yeah. Everybody can on their video, can talk to each other. So kita ada host, kita ada participant. Everybody can on their video, very easy to talk, etc. But when you go for large audiences or a content presentation, having everybody have their video on can be disruptive. So for example, sekarang kita ada 3 kind of users. Kita ada saya dengan Syahida sebagai host dan co-host. Kita ada other people like a panelist. They can share their video, audio. They can, if they want to. Then everybody has the audience. Di sini adalah attendees. You can't turn on your video and audio until the host allows you. So very easy to manage large crowd because it won't be disruptive. Yeah. So the usage can be for internal audience, external audience, etc. Tapi people always ask, meeting senang, webinar ni susah to set up, etc. Tapi it is not. So, which is why I want to show you how easy it is to set up a webinar by yourself. So I'm just gonna go to full screen. Yeah. Patrick, can you confirm that you're seeing my screen on my Zoom profile?
Yeah, we can able to see. Ramana, go ahead.
Perfect, thank you. So when you log into your Zoom account online, you'll come to here. So if you're not an administrator of your account, you won't see the bottom part, but you'll see all of this. You'll see your title, your licenses that you have, etc. So when you come over here to webinar, you can easily schedule a webinar very, very fast. So I don't have any webinar schedule at the moment. So I can just click on schedule. Yeah, then I'm gonna go over the different features that you have. You can have this awesome webinar, for example. This is your description. Just gonna write something here, and then you can decide when. So this when that you see here is not set in stone. It is just more for the information for people who join your webinar. So you can start or end your webinar whenever you want. Yeah. So this is more for information. So I'm just going to put it next week, for example. Yeah. And 1 hour. Again, the timing is also optional. You can start or end your webinar whenever you want. This is more for information for people who join. You can select your time zone, just the same informational. You can start and end webinar. If you have a webinar which is recurring every Saturday, for example, you make it a recurring webinar. You can say it can recur daily, weekly, monthly, or no fixed time. And you can say repeat after X many days, 7 occurrence, etc. is very easy to use. This option, if you want to list it in our public webinar listing, usually not recommended if it's a private organization. But if you're doing a public session, yeah, you can list it in public event list. It can be searchable. Yeah. You can make a registration required or not required. For example, this webinar that you join is a registration required webinar. But if it's not a required webinar, you can just click the link and join. Very easy. Yeah. So generally, if it's an internal event or even if it's an external event, I would highly recommend putting registration required because you can see who is coming to your webinar. Yeah. And for authentication, you can require the panelists or attendees to authenticate to join. Yeah. So what happens when you authenticate someone? You require them to authenticate to join, which means they must have signed on to Zoom, which means they can't join on to in a browser. Yeah. Or you can say they must be signed on to Zoom specific domain. For example, let's say they are from KKM. Yeah. So their email domain moh.gov.my. So you want only internal KKM people to join. You can say they must join the session with a specific domain. It must be moh.gov.my. So this you can protect your webinar from external parties joining in, causing disruptions. Yeah. So next time you can add a watermark, which means there'll be a slight watermark on the viewers so that somebody shares a private webinar, you can see who they are. Next up, you can passcode for webinar. I generally recommend that to be there. Next up, you have the video. So for example, right, only as I mentioned, only the host and panelists can turn on their video. But you can, as a host, you can decide, no, panelists' videos will be off when they join in. They'll be turned on only at my instruction. You can do that as well. And the audio side, this is generally, unless you know what you're doing, just set a telephone or computer audio. Because sometimes people have joining in via telephone. You want to have people only joining via audio call. You can do that, yeah. Next are the options. You can have the Q&A or disable Q&A. For example, in this session, we have enable Q&A. So you can ask your questions on the questions directly. You can enable practice session. So yesterday, Shahira and I and the team, we started the webinar on a practice session wherein we be able to test out our slides, our content sharing without making the webinar go live. So when you enable this, when you start a webinar, you'll automatically enter a practice session and there'll be a button on top which says broadcast. When you click on that, only get the people joining. You can enable HD for both my shared video and the attendees, but bear in mind, it is subject to bandwidth requirement. If your bandwidth is slow, the HD will become SD or non-SD immediately. Yeah. You can. This is new. You can set up the host and control the appearance of the panelists right from their name tag, etc., etc. Yeah. And you can make a webinar on demand, which means when you make a webinar on demand, somebody who missed the webinar can come and watch the recording of the webinar if they have missed it. Of course, when you make a webinar, it automatically records. But let's say you're not making it on demand, you can still record it. You choose a record in the cloud or in your local computer. I would highly suggest always go to record in the cloud. The reason being, the recording of when a webinar or meeting is ongoing, it will be processed in lifetime. And it takes a bit of time after the webinar ends for the processing to continue. So if you have your local computer, let's say your computer is a bit old, no charge, etc., it crashes, the recording is gone forever. At least in the cloud, once your recording is ended, you can just close the webinar, you can go do whatever you want, it automatically will be recorded and stored in the cloud. You can enable data center, additional data center. This is only if it's required. You can approve or block people from a certain region if you want to. Yeah. So perhaps you can only want people from Malaysia. So you can approve people from only from Malaysia to come in. You don't want people in a certain country joining in because they cause a disruption. You can do that as well, depending on your requirements. Alternative hosts. So we know that we have a co-host who can help to run a particular event. but alternative host can help to start or end a particular webinar. Co-host cannot start or end a webinar, but alternative host can. For example, Shahira organized this meeting, but let's say she's running late, she's unable to come and start the webinar. She can assign someone to be an alternative host, and this person can start or end this particular webinar. Interpretation, this is what I told earlier. You can assign interpreters for any particular languages. So this is not AI, this is the actual person who sits behind the screen, will give automatic transcription for any particular language. So let's say you're joining in, and let's say there's a Japanese transcription happening. You can change your audio mode to Japanese, and then you will hear the Japanese translation of whatever's going on. So the video, the image and the video that you see will be exactly same as everybody else, but the audio that you listen is from the transcriber, from the translator. Yeah. So once you schedule this, it's pretty straightforward. That's it. Yeah. This is the basic setup. But from the bottom, you can see there are a few other things that you can set up. Yeah. You have you can, from the basic, you can invite panelists from a CSV. You can so this is how the registration link looks like. It'll be very basic, but you'll be able to edit all of this from the branding section. Yeah. Automatically, you have all of these items over here, but you'll be able to edit all of that in branding. Yeah. You can edit the registration setting from earlier. People who register, are they automatically approved, manually approve them, depending on the privacy level of your meeting, your webinar. You can set that. You can send an email to host when someone registers. This is a bad idea, especially if you're doing a very large event. If you're a 1,000 people event, the host will get 1,000 emails. So unless you're doing a small event, do not take this. Yeah. You can either close registration after event date or not. What is this useful for? When you're having the webinar on demand, you can still register after the event date and watch the recording. And your registration limit is by the license that you have. So mine is 1,000. But let's say for whatever reason, I want to have a more close-knit registration, I can just put 100 people. So after 100 person, they can't register anymore. Allowing attendees to join from multiple devices. So what happens is when somebody registers for an event, they get a unique link. So they can share the link and everybody can join. So it's very hard for you to track who's joining from what device. But if you disallow this, the particular unique link is created can only be joined from one single device. So let's say they share to multiple people and the person joins in, then the next person who joins the same link won't be able to join. The share button, social share button is basically what you see over here. You can make it disappear if you want to. You can enable disclaimer. Basically, this is a disclaimer. When you do all that and you save it, what happens is that this particular page, there'll be a disclaimer which comes in the bottom. As you can see from here, this is a disclaimer. Yeah. And sorry, I'm just gonna go back to that. You can edit the questions that you see over here. Here you see these questions that you see. You'll be able to add your own custom questions if you want to. It's quite straightforward that way. And you can manage the attendees. Once you register, you can approve or block somebody if you want to. And then the email settings. When you go to email settings, you can go and send a confirmation email to register if you want to. You can schedule to send a reminder email either 1 day, 1 hour, or 1 week before the event, where you can do some minor edits in the subject, but not in the main content. You can add some things in the bottom if you want to, because this involves unique links that are created for the particular webinar. And you can do a follow-up email to attendees and absentees X many days after the event ends. So you can have the survey forms. You can say, hey, sorry, we missed you for the absentees, etc. And here you can see the branding. You can change all the logos that you see over here to your own logo, etc. And you can even change the color scheme. And you can add speaker. For example, let's say you add a speaker. It's going over there. Yeah. I'm just going to add Obama over here. He's going to be our speaker for today. And we're going to have the Obama. We're going to have the president. We're going to have US Gov. We're going to have Express. So when you do this, automatically what happens is that in the webinar registration page, this person's profile is added in the bottom. So there you go. You can see Obama over there. And of course, you can edit the information to what you want. And you can add up to 10 speakers. Does that mean you can have only 10 speakers? No. You can have more, but you can showcase up to 10 speakers in your the registration page. And of course, you can even edit your color theme for the buttons, etc. This is very straightforward. And yeah, Next, you have polls and surveys. Surveys is something done post the event. You can go as part of your attendees post-event email. And next, you have polls. So we actually have a poll created to show you. You can create a poll quite straightforward, single choice, multiple choice question, etc., which can be run during the event. I'm going to stop sharing for a little bit just to show you how that looks like. Yeah. All right. So we have a pre-created poll here on our webinar. So just going to run it and launch it. Just simple 2 questions just to show you how it looks like. You can answer this question right now. So we have 51 participants. I'll be able to see your answers. So yeah, we have 2%, 3%. So this is just to illustrate what the polling thing is going to be like. So I'm running this for 5 more seconds before I close the poll. So I will end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now the poll is ended. I can see the results and I can share the results with you, as you can see right now. All of you can see the results, so by percentage, etc. Yeah. So when all these details of these polls will be locked in the analytics section of the webinar. So, but if you run the same poll twice, only the latest poll will be noted down, not all the polls. Yeah. So if you're running the same question twice, usually at the start of the meeting, end of the meeting, yeah, you can just give me a second. So sorry. If you're running the same questions at the beginning and end, for example, to test the knowledge of the participant for a particular webinar, have the same copy of the same poll. Don't launch the same poll again because you lose the initial answers. Yeah, and of course you have Q&A. You can edit it to allow for anonymous questions, or you can allow it to be all questions or only answer question depending on your requirement. Yeah, and on the more, you can live stream any particular webinar into Facebook, Workplace Facebook, or YouTube. Quite straightforward, yeah. And once the webinar is ended, you'll be able to see the reports. When you go to reports, you can go to the webinar reports, and there are 6 kinds of reports over here. Sorry, 6 kinds of reports. You can see only registration reports available before the webinar is ongoing. The rest are post-webinar, attendee report, performance report about the registration attendance feedback, Q&A report, the poll, and survey report. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward on that front. So, all right, so that is how easy it is to set up a webinar. Yeah, and you can also make some of these changes during the webinar itself. So as you can see here, I can edit the settings to the webinar directly on the during the webinar itself. So yeah. All right, so that is pretty much how a webinar looks like. So at this juncture, I want to take a small preamble into our next section. So we have meetings and webinars. I've explained both. But however, these 2 products alone doesn't solve the need which a physical event solves. Because few reasons. Sometimes when you're running webinar, you want some features of the meeting. For example, breakout rooms not available in the webinar. Yeah, you want to have breakout room webinar, you can't do it. Yeah, this one I think is showing my face, so it's easy to I'm talking right now. And sometimes you're having concurrent events. You're having a webinar, after that you want to be a meeting, etc. And right now, all of these sessions are created as separate events. So it's disruptive for a brand experience. So somebody clicks on a particular webinar, they go to the webinar. For next session, they come back and click on another link and everything. So they're coming in and out of everything. So we thought there should be a platform which mimics a real-life conference as much as possible. So when they come to a particular event, they will attend all the sessions within the same branding of the event without having to leave. And that is why we have built Zoom Events. So Zoom Events is basically our platform which runs both meeting and webinar. Doesn't matter, right? It's an all-in-one event management solution. You can run multi-session, multi-track, and multi-day events. Yeah, and these individual sessions can be both webinar or meetings. And you can do registration and ticketing options. And right now in Malaysia, you can't do paid ticketing, but that option is coming here soon. So you can, the attendees can network in a chat-enabled lobby. So they can talk to everybody and they can see all the events without entering any of these particular events. I will actually show you live how it looks like because I have a recording from a past event. Yeah, and all the analytics and everything will be there. Yeah. So the different type of events that you can run on Zoom event can be from a single session keynote event It can be a single track, single day event. It can be a multi-day, multi-track concurrent event as well. So the first event that we ran on Zoom events last year was Zoomtopia, which is an internal event. I have a recording for the particular event to illustrate to you how Zoom event looks like. Just gonna make sure that I've optimized for video sharing. Just take a quick pause over here to explain a few things. When you enter a Zoom events, this is what you see. This is what we call a lobby. On the left-hand side, you have the different tabs. You have home, sessions, itinerary, expo, and sponsors. In the between, you have the sessions which are ongoing. And on the right, you have the lobby chat, yeah? So here, all these individual sessions that you see here, the videos you see over here are live sessions. They could be webinar or they could be meetings depending on your requirement. And you can scroll through it just like a real life event. When you go for a conference, you have these sessions happening in different halls behind a curtain. You can peek through without entering the particular session. You can do that over here. You can scroll through a particular session on the video or audio and listen to it without entering the session at all. At the bottom, you see the in progress and starting soon sessions. And and on the right hand side, you can see this chat. You can chat with anybody, yeah? You can ask them, hey, where's this particular session happening? The organizer can talk to anybody, yeah? So this is more like the actual lobby chat where everybody can talk to everybody. And when you go to the particulars, you can react using emojis and everything. You can reply to any particular messages as well. And when you go to a particular, the sessions tab, you'll be able to see upcoming session. Who are the speakers? What is the particular session is about, etc. And you can scroll up to the past events and watch a recording if you have missed any particular event. And you can go add this event to your itinerary so you don't have to miss anything. You can search for this any particular event using any particular keyword. And the next particular feature, which is quite interesting, there'll be a virtual lobby which is created. This is currently available in beta, but we'll make it available, generally available soon. And we'll make it available upon request. And just like a real life event, when you go to a event, you have booths, you talk to someone, ask them about any particular questions. You can have virtual booths. You can walk around, go to a particular virtual booth and actually talk to someone. You can place someone over there who can answer any questions that you might have. Or you can ask questions yourself, or you can talk, just watch them talking to anybody else. And when you walk around a different booth, you see the avatars over here, these are actual people. When you see over there, they're available to chat, you can chat with them. So networking, like a real life event, can be done on the expo floor. And of course, the last session is the sponsors section, which is straightforward. You can have information about any particular sponsor and read about them and download any material from them. So it's quite straightforward in that aspect, yeah? So that is a Zoom event. And so while all these features that you've seen so far on Zoom events, the expo hall, everything, you might have seen on any other platform, the difference is that it's completely self-serve. Even the person who does not know any technology can go over there, click it, just like you saw the webinar, right? Exactly the same. Click a few buttons and you have a Zoom event up and running. So you don't need to do any high-end production over here. Of course, sometimes you want to do high-end production from a design and graphics point of view, and you need help to help organize that. Yeah. So for that, we have our Zoom event services team who will be able to support you with that. So this can be for either really complicated technical event in which you require assistance, or it can be for insurance. You just want to make, my boss is coming for this event, I need to make sure that this event runs smoothly. So it can be for either. And I just want to illustrate some of the events that we have done in the past for our customers. This was in Indonesia. So they had their digital literacy initiative launched by their Ministry of Information. We had 600,000 concurrent attendees coming in. It was a highly technical challenge, and the president launched it. And each of the individual boxes that you see over here are individual participants coming from different provinces in Indonesia. It was broadcast to TV. And this was our internal event done by our Deputy CIO, Gary Sorrentino. It's an interview series where he interviewed people from around the world. But as far as the end user is concerned, they are all in the same room. Just want to show a video on how that was done.
I have the biggest living room in the world. My living room is about 16,000 kilometers long. It's built over 14 time zones. And to travel from one side of that table to the other takes about 21 hours.
All right, so that is how it was done. So we had people joining from different green screens around the world. and people watching, they thought this is the same room. Yeah? And of course, the consultation can be from the basic 1 hour, hey, how to do this kind of consultation, to a dedicated event management team kind of consultation. So before I move on to my next session, I thought I'll take a quick break to see were there any questions that I can quickly answer. There's a few questions over here. Can you do, okay, Shahul's answering some questions as well. While Shahul's answering one particular question, let me see. There's a in webinar on Zoom style. Can we see participants following the webinar in Zoom? Yes, so in webinar, we have three kinds of, so this is a question from Farah. I'll answer this live. In webinar, there's three kinds of participants. We have the host, we have the co-host, and the attendees. The attendees cannot see each other. They cannot on their video audio unless they are promoted into a panelist. So generally for webinar, most of the people will not share their video. They will be absorbing their the content alone. But of course, at any given time, the host or co-host can promote anybody from attendee to a panelist to a co-host. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So currently there are no open questions. So I'll go back to my presentation. I'll be back to answer any questions post this. So, all right. So now for the second pillar on Zoom Rooms. So generally before I go to Zoom Rooms, I would like to play a video up to 1 minute 30 seconds, which illustrates everything I have to say on the matter. And after that, I'll do some explanation, of course. So just playing a quick video on returning to office.
As you all know, how and where we work is changing. So I wanted to show you all the things Zoom is doing to make it super safe and easy for you to re-enter the office. Even from the moment you walk in, you can get checked in virtually through our Zoom Rooms kiosk mode. Hey Deva, how's it going?
Hey Esther.
And then from there, they can do what's needed to make sure I can enter the building. This makes things like temperature checks super easy. In places like your hallways and your lobbies, you can push out really cool Zoom Rooms digital signage content like your capacity limits or your safety protocols. And then outside of your meeting rooms, you can see how many people are in the room before you even enter. And the great thing about this is not only are you providing your employees with valuable information, IT admins can check things like the CO2 level, air quality, and room occupancy straight from the Zoom dashboard. Once I'm in a Zoom room, I can start my meeting completely touch-free using voice commands. Hello Zoom, start meeting. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yes, sir.
So the cool thing here is it's leveraging AI. Zoom Room Smart Gallery is pulling the faces of the people in the room and it's pushing it as individual streams so I can have a better face-to-face conversation with them. You can also do things like pair your mobile device or your laptop so you can control your room camera, mute your audio, so you don't even have to touch the room controller. All of this is setting the stage for collaboration. So I can share my screen and co-annotate with my colleagues, whether they're at home or in the office, whatever device they're on. And then we can share straight to Zoom chat so that we can pick up where we left off later. We understand that managing hybrid workforces and re-entering the office is going to be a challenge. So Zoom is here to make that transition as smooth as possible. Thanks for your help, guys.
All right. That is what Zoom Room can do. Tapi, what is Zoom Room? Zoom Room is basically a software room system. Yeah, we work with multiple hardware partners to give you the effect that you saw in the video earlier. It's very easy to book, very easy to establish. It's super cheap. Yeah, and yeah. So, but people always ask me, upper Basil, Zoom meeting and Zoom Room. They say that, oh, now also we can just bring a laptop to a room, everybody bring a laptop to a room and talk to people from outside the room. But here's the thing, right? When you have multiple laptops coming to a room, etc., sharing for the people within the room can be disruptive. You need a projector, you need to connect wiring, etc. Yeah, and we have multiple audios coming, there'll be a lot of echoes. Here, Zoom Room is not connected to any particular person, but to a particular space. So imagine Zoom is like Zoom meetings for a room. Yeah, so you walk into the room, you can start using it, and it share screen completely wireless. No need for any wiring. You can just flick it across. You can start sharing it. And just now you saw, right? For people in the room, the video automatically gets put in smart galleries. So it is not disruptive. It feels very natural. The people in the room, instead of seeing a very large room with so many small faces, you can see individual faces. So it is very natural, for the lack of a better word. Digital signage. People sometimes underestimate the value of the real estate that they have, all the screens that they have in their office, which is not being used. So we have an additional feature in Zoom Rooms where you can use this real estate when the room is not being used. You can show out any content. It can be announcement, etc., from the company. Yeah. And the use cases for Zoom rooms can be from the simplest huddle room to a phone booth to a conference room to a webinar broadcast studio. So we actually have a design guideline, especially when we're building a new office, on how you can set this up for the most optimum output. Yeah. All right. Next up, Zoom Chat. So I come to Zoom Chat first before Zoom Phone. The reason being, Zoom Chat is an often overlooked product for ours. It's actually an enterprise-ready product, but people don't know about it because we give it for free. If you use Slack before, it is exactly like that, but we think it's better, right? It's completely seamless from your mobile phone to your laptop, your tablet, etc. Yeah, I will show you how it looks like. I will show you my Zoom app, how it looks like, but right now I just want to show you some of the features. So you can have an individual chat or group chat. In a group chat, we call it channel. You can have it can be for HR, it can be for finance. You can have, pin a particular content, or you can start a content. It's quite easy to use. So very easy to communicate with everybody. Yeah. And depending on your requirement, you can customize your chat for the colors, the notifications that you want to get, etc. And you can, if you're an administrator, you can control your channels. Is it public? Is it private? Can you add external users? So you can manage the security of any particular channels you're conducting. Yeah, this is a very quick presentation on Zoom Chat, but I will show you how it looks like. I will answer all the questions over there. Zoom Phone. So Zoom Phone, people are like, okay, what is Zoom? Is it a physical phone? No, there is no. You have hardware partners, but to run a Zoom Phone, you don't need any hardware phone. So what is Zoom Phone? Zoom Phone is basically, it's a phone system. It's a PBX, cloud PBX solution. Everything you need to run a phone system to make calls, everything is over here. And it is extremely cost efficient. Yeah. And it is a modern phone solution, and it's very easy to manage. So to illustrate this, I want to show you how it looks like. Yeah. So this is my personal Zoom Phone thing. I can do my working hours, etc., easily over here. But as an administrator, it's very easy. So if I come to Zoom Phone System Management right now, to control, to give someone a new number, it can be quite complicated. Or adding everything here, everything is done through a single easy UI. I can add users, remove users. I can create shared lines. I can create call logs, auto receptionists, etc. It's a very seamless experience. We're managing a phone solution as easy as managing an email system solution. It's very easy to use. Yeah. So, and to a testament to the quality of Zoom Phone, we were the fastest to get 1 million seats among all the other competitors, including RingCentral, etc. And the best part is, from 1 million to 1.5 million happened in 6 months ago. No, less than 2 quarters. And so some of the features I want to highlight is call masking and privacy. Of course, I will show it to you, demo right immediately after this. You can call from a direct number, your main company number, etc. Yeah, you can. So why you can protect your identity when you're doing a phone call to an external party, etc. You can receive a call on your mobile phone without giving your mobile identity. Yeah, so for security reasons. You can record a call for compliance reasons. Yeah, and automatically transcribe so you can read it later. You can set up your working hours of voicemail. So one of the things I've noticed happen quite frequently right now during the pandemic, people are working from home, so their landlines, they're not able to use it because the hardware phones are in the office. So not only the company is paying for it, now the people in the office who are working from home have to give their personal mobile number. Now, masalahnya, they get called at all the odd hours. The privacy and the work-life balance is spoiled. So now what you can do is you can set up working hours. So anybody calls your landline beyond working hours, it goes automatically to voicemail. So on normal time, you can receive the calls on your mobile phone, but the time when you're not office hours, it won't disturb you. It goes straight to voicemail and transcribe. Yeah. And when you call a particular office, you can press 1 to go to this particular department. Press 2 for this. You can set all of them up very easily from the administrative view. So intelligent call routing, everything can be done very simply, and it's all included for free within the basic Zoom Phone package. Yeah. And when you're getting a call on your mobile to your landline, you can flip it to your desktop or vice versa to a physical phone if you want to. And I have a video which illustrates this. Just gonna play it very quickly. Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to share with you a couple of features that we've rolled out that makes it super easy for you to manage calls and meetings across all your different devices. Let's see this example where I get a call from Katiana. Hey Katiana, can you hold real quick? So I'm going to put Katiana on hold,
transfer this call to my mobile device, and I could see it shows up right on my Zoom mobile app. So I'm gonna pick up the call here. Hey, I'm finding a room right now. The cool thing about this is it just picks up the nearest available room, and I can walk right in. And now I've moved my call into a Zoom room. Just find my room, click it, and it's easy as that. Hey Katiana, how's it going?
Hey Esther,
Let's get on video.
can I share something with you real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So I was thinking about moving number 8 and number 9. Do you think that will work?
Yeah, it looks totally good to me.
All right, it's as simple as that. So why is Zoom Phone more powerful than the competitors? It's because we started without any baggage. The previous players, now they've been there for long, yeah. No, kudos to them. But the problem is that there are a lot of legacy technologies that they had to fight with, they had to use, because they already built on top of it. For us, we started here. There's no legacy platform. We were video first. So our encryption standards, our technology, everything accounts for video. So audio is super easy for us. And as a proof of that, this was done by a third party called Wainhouse Research. They are showing the call quality as the network condition drops. Even at 70%, Zoom is still very functional, while all the other competitors have gone down to the bad territory. Yeah. And so I thought I might take this time to show you how my Zoom app actually looks like. The seeing is believing, right? So this is my actual Zoom app. This is how it looks like on thing, and this is how it looks like on. This is how it looks like on mobile. Yeah. So it's the same app. It's the exact same app that you can see, or you can download from a Play Store, etc. Let me go over step by step. Yeah. This is the chat. This is the home button. I can see my current event, schedule a meeting, etc. This is the chat that I spoke to you about. I have my start messages. I have my one-on-one chats over here, and then I have my channels, the different channels that I joined. And this is the Zoomies F1 chat. We are all the F1 fans. We chat about everything over here. I can click on this. I can see the different participants in this particular channel, and I can see the current status. Jose said, "Do not disturb." He's busy. We have Achal, who's available but on mobile. Yeah, Akshay is available right now, so I can call him. So there's no problem at all. And then we have people who will be on the call. So for example, this is my logo. I'm on this particular webinar. So my thing is that I'm on a video call and I'm presenting. You can even see that. Yeah. You can see the different directories. If you connect all my contacts from different departments, I call them directly. I can find the numbers directly from here. I can see my current ongoing meeting. I'm in the Avantech event right now. And before I go to the phone, these are the apps that I use. So I use Asana to communicate. I use my business card. I'll show it to you how it looks like in a bit. And this is my phone. I don't need any physical phone, but I can have a physical phone if I want to. I can call any country in the world. I can just dial the number and call that quite easily. Yeah, I can call from a direct number. I can call from my company number. I can even hide my caller ID if I want to. But again, depending on the legality in certain countries. Yeah. And if I want to call somebody, I don't have to remember their extension. I just type their name. This is my boss, Patrick V. Yeah, Patrick's available right now, so I can call him if I want to. Yeah. I can call my other boss to see whether he's available. He's on a call, so I should not call him. He's in a Zoom meeting. So easy as I type the name to call or external number I call. And if I receive any voicemail, it automatically transcribes, so I don't have to take notes. So it's easy as that. So yeah, that is how easy and intuitive a Zoom app is. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Perfect. So back to my slideshow. So that is basically the second pillar and everything. And next, I want to move on to the Zoom apps. So before I move on to the SDK section, we have the Zoom apps. Zoom apps are basically apps which you can run on top of Zoom or along with Zoom. It's a marketplace in which you can download all of this. So in these, there are two categories: the regular apps which you're connecting to Zoom, so you get the data from Zoom, so vice versa, or you have the Zoom apps. These are apps that can be run directly on top of Zoom. So for example, right now, you can see my video over here. You see that my background is there, my name is over there. This is done through an app called Warmly. So I can change according to different meetings that I joined. It's an e-business card app. Besides this, I also have other apps like Asana, etc., which I use to take notes, etc. So there are apps which can run within the Zoom ecosystem and some apps which you can partner with. So this can be managed centrally as well, or can be managed for individual user. And yeah, all right. So now I move on to the SDK portion. So Zoom SDK there are two kinds. There are meeting SDK and a video SDK. These are basically leveraging on Zoom's technology for your own application. Yeah, it has some implication for the public sector as well. But before that, I would like to show a video. This is more of the retail sector, where they built a they built a video platform on top of a checkout app in Australia. So just going to quickly play this video before I explain the difference between meeting SDK and a video SDK. This is a 2-minute long video.
Talking to Lee and Shane there has reminded me that my wife asked me to pick up a new outfit to a dinner we're going to. She's unable to get to the store herself, and I know what style she likes. I'm excited to experience browse for myself. In fact, I just logged in. It's hard to shop for someone else. I might actually connect live here and get some professional advice from a stylist in store.
Hi Ricky, it's Kayla here from Q in Sydney. How are you?
I'm good, Kayla. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. Thanks for connecting. I just saw that you were looking at our beautiful twist front dress. Would you like me to show you what you were looking at?
Yeah, I'd love to have a look at that.
Amazing. So what's the occasion?
We're going out for dinner, my wife and I.
Oh, I think.
Look, it looks fabulous, absolutely fabulous, you know. If you could put both of those in my cart, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Let me do that for you right now, Ricky. And what's fantastic as well is I can do this right from the app here. So right in Browse, I can make your cart for you as we speak. And then what I'll do is I'll send it to you via SMS for you to proceed with payment. And then once that's all done, I will get it ready for you. So easy, isn't it? So efficient, and she can have it ready for dinner. And as well, thank you for supporting Australian Made, because both of these garments are made here in Australia, which is even more special. So when she opens them up tonight, I'm sure she's going to love seeing that these garments are made locally here in Australia.
Thanks, Kayla. Look, I've just received the SMS and payment made.
Oh, amazing. So what I'll do for you now, Ricky, is I'll wrap them all up and get them sent off for you today. And best of luck tonight at dinner. I hope she loves wearing her Q pieces.
Thanks a lot, Kayla. You've been a fabulous.
All
To Lee and Shane.
So that is a more retail application. But now let me explain the difference between SDK and video SDK. So basically simple. So meeting SDK is basically a Zoom meeting which runs within your own app. Yeah. So right now when you have your own app, you have to give a meeting invite. Somebody clicks on it. They are leaving your app ecosystem. They are going to a browser or the Zoom app. But you don't want them to leave your ecosystem. You can embed Zoom meeting into your app and take the meeting within your own application. But the thing is that what to note is that it is still a Zoom meeting. All the UI that you see over here are still Zoom. Yeah. So, but let's say you don't want all that. You want to, like just on the previous video, you had a checkout or anything. You want to make your own customized video experience. You can use a video SDK. You can use the core video technology and build whatever that you want. And these have implication for different kinds of business, also government. Yeah, because you can use this for counter services which does not require in-person meeting. So you can, for government offices, you can have an app in which people can talk to the officer remotely. Of course, we have some retail experiences for personal shopper, etc. But for government, it's mostly for you can control, for financial sector KYC. For the government sector, of course, you can reduce the amount of footfall in the government offices by moving a lot of this meeting to a virtual meeting, which can be done through your own personal app. So again, these are some of the use cases. Of course, sometimes our client can think of a better use case. We just give the technology, they'll have a more use cases themselves. So that is in a nutshell my presentation and overview of Zoom for today. Yeah. So now, before we move on to questions, yeah. Hari has already put in the pop quiz. So the first question was, what is the maximum participant count in a Zoom meeting? So we had 4 options: 500, 1,000, 10,000, and 50,000. The correct answer is 1,000. Yeah. The 10,000, 50,000 can be done in webinar, but Zoom meeting, the maximum with large meeting add-on is 1,000. Yeah. Next question was, which of the following roles cannot share their video and audio during webinar? We had the host, co-host, panelists, attendees. I hope everybody got this correct because that is the role you're playing right now. The answer is attendees. Yeah. So let's see who's the winner. We will announce the winner before the end of the session. But now let's move on to Q&A. So yeah. All right. First question. So we have, can we join 2 or more different Zoom meetings or webinar on the same time using the same account? No, you can't do that. There's one way you can do that, that is through Zoom events. So because you can, from the lobby, you can see multiple sessions going on. You can just play and look at those and things. But generally, you can't join multiple events using the same account. So, okay, well, we have questions coming in. Perfect. All right. Isma asks, can you use the add-ons on webinar like Kahoot? Kahoot is not available on Zoom webinar as an app at the moment, but you can always share screen and give the meeting ID, and using share screen, you can do that. So in Zoom meetings, you can run Kahoot as part of the meeting itself. In webinar, what you can do is that you can you start the Kahoot on the web. You share your screen, so the Kahoot ID can be seen by the participant. They join in, so you share your screen while running it. So you can run Kahoots on the thing by using share screen. As an app, it's not available for webinar yet, but for meeting, it's already available. I hope that answers your question, Isma. Yeah. So the voice quality being poor. So Dennis raised a question here that for hybrid meeting, the voice quality is usually very poor. So let me explain why that is. So we see when you're doing in-room conferences, usually you don't use mic and everything because everybody's already there, you're talking to each other. But in the hybrid situation, without the room conferencing system, either everybody's having their own laptop, etc., which means a lot of echo happening, or they're having their mic in the one corner and other person in the back, they can't hear it. So Zoom rooms, we work with partners who have really high quality hardware only to allow for really high quality audio to be without echo and everything. And we have a noise cancellation within the software, etc. So all the external sounds will not be. So I can actually show it to you how that looks like. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So you can see my screen again. If you go to settings, under the audio, I can have the suppressed background noise. Right now it's auto, yeah. But depending on is where you are, you can be able to suppress the background noise, etc. Yeah. So these are different. You can do in settings, etc. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty useful feature. Yeah. In fact, we spoke to a client recently, a Malaysian client. In fact, they had so much issues with the audio in their conference room that the CEO got really pissed off. He's like, fix it right now. This is before they met us, right? They were on the verge of using, the parliament style mics on individual seats on the conference room. Like overkill, right? You don't have to do all that. You can there's a much cheaper solution available. Yeah. But yeah, but yes, that is true. In the current scenario, audio is a big problem for hybrid meeting, which we believe we have solved, and we're quite happy to demo it to anyone. Yeah.